Welcome to another video, and this video is all about the need for speed with the DJI Neo. Now the DJI Neo has various ways you can control it, and each one has its own individual maximum speed depending on the mode and the equipment that you use. In this video I'm going to show you each one of those, what the maximum speeds are, what the benefits are, how you might use them, and at the end I'll also use the FPV system to show you how you can use that to attain maximum speeds of over 50 kilometers an hour. And for a bit of fun I'll also have a look at 60 degrees camera tilt, which should give you ludicrous speeds and possibly end up with me crashing, but hopefully it's not that kind of video. Now a quick one, I do appreciate a lot of you have subscribed to my channel because you enjoy watching me crash drones. Unfortunately this is hopefully not going to be that kind of video, but rest assured that I have got future ones lined up which should satisfy your cravings. So let's get straight into it and have a look at the slowest of speeds you can attain with the Neo. So the slowest manual control mode you've got available is when you use your mobile phone. I've measured this one to be about 7 kilometers an hour, which is extremely slow. It's about the same speed as you get with Cine mode with the RCN3 controller, and that speed looks a little bit like this. So this is manual control with a mobile phone, giving you about 7 kilometers an hour, which is very slow. But besides that, it's also quite limiting because the mobile phone control link is quite unstable, cuts out quite a lot, and it's very limiting in range. You get about 50 meters maximum and 30 meters altitude. So it won't allow you to fly particularly far. And when it does, or when you get to that limit, quite often the signal will be quite poor anyway. Now it is still quite a useful mode to use. And here's some example shots of what you can do with it. Okay, so I've now connected it to the RCN3 controller, which allows you to fly in Cine, normal and sports modes. Each one of those has a specific default speed defined by DJI, Cine being the slowest, sport being the fastest, but it also has the ability for you to adjust your own maximum speed for that mode in the settings. To do that you can go to the gain and expo settings, and in that you'll find a slider which you can move up and down to adjust your maximum speed. Now, so in Cine mode the maximum speed is 7.2 kilometers an hour, and the slider is already set to the maximum speed by default. So that'll be similar to what we just had with the mobile phone control, but just to show you again. So the next mode we look at is normal mode, which by default is set to 14.4 kilometers an hour, but in the settings can be changed from 3.6 up to 21.6 kilometers an hour. So you have a wide variety of speeds which you can set for your own taste, but we'll have a look at the default setting, which is 14.4. That's double the speed that we had with Cine mode and the mobile phone controller. Okay, so the fastest mode available in the N3 controller is called Sports Mode, which allows you to go from 25.2 kilometers an hour up to 28.8 kilometers by changing the settings. That setting can also be changed down to a minimum of 3.6, but I don't know why you'd want to, because you've got Cine and normal mode for that. So 25.2 by default, 28.8 maximum. I'll be having a look at the default speed of 25.2, and this is what it looks like. So the FPV system, I'm using the Goggles 3, DJI Goggles 3, the DJI Remote 3, together with the DJI Neo. You can also use the Motion Controller 3 with the goggles in order to fly FPV, but one of those methods along with the Goggles 3 is the only way you can currently fly FPV with this drone. So let's quickly talk about camera angle in manual mode. In manual mode, your camera will be at a fixed angle. Now when you're flying like this, your camera wants to be pointing straight forward or roughly straight forward. So depending on the angle that you set your camera at, you'll be going faster. Now that might sound a bit weird because how does a camera angle adjust your speed? But it's how you perceive the attitude of the drone and then fly it. So if you have a very steep camera angle, you'll be flying like this, which will make it go very fast. If you have a shallow camera angle, it'll be like this. So I'm going to go through a few different camera angles and what sort of speeds you can get with them. So in order to enable manual mode, what you have to do is you have to go into your menu. So I'm just going to quickly go to settings, go to control, remote controller, go to custom mode, change that to manual mode, click confirm, that's fine. Then go to gain expo, make sure your manual mode attitude limit is off, which it is at the moment, and you're good to go. Right, here we go. So setting into manual, oh no. That is because experimenting earlier when I tried to see what the maximum tilt angle you can get with manual mode is, I set it up to about 60-70 degrees, and that's what it tried to push me into, and I don't want to start off that way and crash, because this is the camera with about 60-70 degrees angle. So that means it'll be flying like this. Hey, later. Okay, right, so my tilt is now 0 degrees, and as you can see, it's really anything faster than the speed I'm doing at the moment would mean I'd have to tilt the camera right at the ground, and it's not going to look particularly nice. So you can go faster, but it just doesn't look very nice. Let's move it up to 10 degrees. I'm now flying about 15-16 kilometers an hour. This is actually quite a nice angle to fly cinematic FPV in. So there you go, that's about 20 degrees. So this is the kind of speed you'll be doing. So I'm now doing 35-ish, 30 to 35 kilometers an hour. And that's with 20 degrees camera angle, which is probably the sort of angle that most people tend to use when they fly FPV. So 30 degrees, I'm now doing about 35 to 40 kilometers, there you go, 45 kilometers an hour, whilst keeping that horizon fairly level. There you go, about 50 kilometers an hour, reaching the kind of speeds that people deem as the maximum speeds available with this. Those sunbursts do look quite nice though, so I'm quite pleased how that camera deals with those. Okay, so according to the instructions, the maximum speed available in manual mode is 16 meters per second, which is about 57 kilometers an hour. Let's see if we can break that top speed. So I'm going to start off with 40 degrees camera angle, and I won't be flying through the woods because that'll be stupid. That was about 61 kilometers an hour. Hey! Let's see if we can do it in level flight, because that was during a dive. One thing I would say, if you fly flat out like this, the batteries do take a hammering and won't last particularly long, both in terms of their life and like how long one cycle will last you. Tickled about 58 kilometers an hour there in level flight. Okay, so that was 62 kilometers an hour in manual mode with 40 degrees camera tilt. which is more than DJI specifies, so that's great. I'm going to see if I can get a bit more. I'm going to take it up to 50 degrees camera angle now. There we go. Manual mode. Let's turn it up. Now this is really strange when flying like this because your controls are completely different. Your roll basically controls yaw, which is... There we go. That's... Okay, look at that. Ooh, got up to 59 kilometers an hour. Right, we're going to do one more pack. Going to try 50 kilometers an hour again, see what the maximum we can get with that is. I think on one pass just now at about 59 kilometers an hour. Now after that I'll be putting up to 60 degrees camera angle, which is an insane angle to use on a little drone like this. The drone's literally going to be flying about like this. And, well, hopefully I won't break it on that one because this one is brand new and I don't want to break it just yet. Manual mode, look at that. So that's what you're looking at when you switch it. It's not pleasant. Okay. 50, here we go. See that? I'll have to have a look at the screen recording in a minute. Let's do one more pass the other way. No, that's anything more. Okay. All right. Let's try 60 degrees, just for giggles. So I'm already having to look up quite a bit in order not to smash into the ground. Let's see, here we go. Let's keep that angle interesting. Got a feeling that 61, 62 kilometers an hour is literally as fast as you're going to get this without a strong tailwind. Just to demonstrate how fast that speed is, here we go. Okay, so I'm actually back at this location because I wasn't 100% happy with the footage I got here yesterday in my high-speed runs in FPV mode. The footage was quite overblown and it was quite a bright sky, so it's quite easy to overblow your highlights with the DJI Neo. I'll do a video on that later. So I'm going to do this again, but also it's really windy today. It's a proper blustery day, and that's a great opportunity to kind of see how fast you can possibly go over this. As we found yesterday, top speed in calm conditions with about 40-30 degrees camera tilt is 60-62 kilometers an hour. Today I reckon we're going to hit a lot more than that, so let's find out, see how fast we can get this little bad boy and try not to break it in the process. Clocking about 67 kilometers an hour. It's about 42 miles an hour. It's downwind and into the wind, a little bit slower, but that's to be expected. Here we go, one more pass. God, oh dear, whee, hey, right, here we go. Oh my god, that does not like that at all, oh my goodness. Okay, that is a behavior which I've seen a lot with this drone, where when your battery gets low, it really lacks that ability to fight the elements. So it's something to be really aware of if you're doing high-speed flying, if you're doing acro flights, if you're really throwing it around, anything like this. When that battery gets lower, so I'm at 24% now, it really lacks that ability to self-stabilize and sort of fight sort of the elements and whatever's trying to unsettle it. It's quite difficult to figure out exactly where that wind is coming from in a sheltered area like this, but I'll try that again. Like I said, I would love to be flying over the top of those trees, but not when it's behaving as badly as this. Hey, yep. Okay, there we go. Let's just do it while we're at it. There you go, 70 kilometers an hour. Whee! God, I'm gonna have to change my pants in a minute. Okay, so that is the end of my speed review of the DJI Neo. So I've shown you what speeds you can expect to be able to do with the various control methods available to you in manual control, the mobile phone control, the RCN3 controller, and the FPV system. With the FPV system, you can expect to do a whopping 62 kilometers an hour in calm conditions. That's a little bit more than DJI state in their documentation. On windy days like today, it's very difficult to fly this drone, so I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to be brave and want to try it, with a tailwind, you can expect to do up to about 68, maybe 70 kilometers an hour, maybe even more than that, but that's roughly the maximum you can get with this. The camera tilts, 30 to 40 degrees camera tilt, regardless whether it's windy or calm, will give you the fastest speed you can get. Anything more than that is pointless and won't give you any advantage. It'll just make it more difficult to fly this drone. And that's quite interesting, because with larger, more powered drones, larger camera angles like 50, 60 degrees will give you more speed, but not with this little fella. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you found it useful. As usual, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy flying, stay safe, and see you soon. Bye-bye.